This is part 2 of the carving project. It shows carving the sunset and making the vertical pieces and cutting the mortices for the vertical pieces. Enjoy. On the carving of the back of this window seat, these three I've got pretty much shaped. After I used a veining tool, this V-shaped tool, to cut the grooves in it, I went back with a number 1 20mm and cut each one of them deeper, then began shaving them flat to widen them out a little bit. Going with the grain in each direction is kind of a hassle. You have to flip back and forth to get the cut right. And also using a number 1 40mm, this is about 1 3/8 wide, and so hopefully I'll have this finished in a day or so. This is the first initial cut. These have to be smoothed out and shaped a whole lot better. And I did cut the top of it off, and there was waste up here, and I trimmed that off to the final shape so that I can cut through to the outer edge. These edges will be rounded off some way too. I haven't quite determined what I want to do with that, but they'll be shaped. Well, I'm pretty happy with the way my sunburst came out. It's pretty smooth. Got a lot of finishing to do on it. One of the other things that I wanted to do was to cut what they call a fingernail cut in the bottom to decorate the bottom board across here. This is kind of what it looks like, the shape of your fingernail. I've laid it out here. You can see I've actually cut a couple of them. So there'll be a dozen on each side, and that should dress this backrest up quite a bit. So I'll get started. First thing you want to do is put this stab cut in here, which I didn't do. That will stop cut you make. And there's just a little touch up on each side to keep the line spacing going correctly. So that again, like everything else, is rinse and repeat until you're done. I've got all the sunburst carved, and it's pretty well roughed in. I have to do some finishing work on it. But I wanted to cut a groove down here and a groove right here and here to separate these so that they look like individual boards. What I used was this setup from Eureka Zone, and it's an adapter that fits on my Festool track, and it allows me to move in and out and up and down with this adjustment over here, and it really worked well. Basically all I did was set the depth on here and moved it down to where it had to go, and I have the depth set. It was just a matter of turning it on and plowing out the side, and it tracked perfectly. I lined up both edges and cut the top one, the last one here. This is the first one I cut it the whole way across. Came out really nice. So it's called the Eureka Zone from Florida. So the next thing I have to do is cut the mortise in each end of the vertical pieces. So this is going to be a total of 26 mortices that I have to cut into 13 pieces. The machine I'm using is the Festool Domino XL 700. This machine cuts the mortise with an oscillating bit that's also, it's spinning, but it's also oscillating back and forth, and it cuts the perfect mortise, as you'll see in a moment. Okay, this is the first time we got it all together, test fitting it. We just have 3 of the spacers in it. That's going to be the backrest for the window seat. So I'm going to take it in the house, give it a test fit, see if it needs any adjustments. I have all the dominoes cut and a few of them in just to hold it together, so we can check it out and see how it's going to fit inside the window. One of the last things I have to do is cut this little detail in here. It gives it some more definition the whole way around here. And I'm using a number 1 16mm gouge chisel to do this. So that's it. That's what it looks like. A little sanding and should be done.